The scent of stale herbs and damp stone clings to the healer's den, a smell I know better than my own. It is the scent of being unwanted. Here, in the lowest corner of the Black Fang pack, the Omegas dwell. We are the menders, the cleaners, the unseen cogs that keep the great machine of the pack running. I am Ilara, and I am less than an Omega. I am wolfless. In a world defined by the beast within, I am an empty vessel, a flaw in the bloodline. My days are a rhythm of grinding herbs, washing bloody rags, and keeping my head down. To be noticed is to be reminded of my lack. Tonight, however, the entire pack hums with an energy that even I can feel, a vibration that travels through the soles of my worn leather slippers. It is the night of the mating ceremony, an event that happens only when the Alpha King himself seeks a mate. King Draven. His name is a growl on the lips of our warriors, a whispered prayer from the pack's daughters. He is not just an alpha. He is the alpha, his bloodline ancient and his power absolute. His war beast, Lycos, is a legend, a creature of shadow and fury, larger than any three wolves combined, a living weapon that has secured his reign for a decade. I am not expected to attend. The wolfless do not present themselves, but Mara, the pack's head healer and the closest thing I have to a mother, presses a clean, if patched, tunic into my hands. Go, she says, her voice rough, but her eyes kind. Every unmated female must be present. It is the law. It is a law meant for those with hope, not for me. Still, I obey. I slip through the throng, keeping to the shadows at the edge of the great clearing. The air is thick with anticipation, a potent cocktail of female pheromones and the sharp, ozonic scent of male power. Warriors stand proud, their chests puffed out. She-wolves, draped in their finest furs, preen and pose, their inner beasts purring with ambition. Then he arrives. A hush falls over the crowd. So sudden and complete, it feels like the world is holding its breath. Alpha King Draven moves with a predator's grace, a living storm of power and authority. He is all sharp angles and coiled muscle, his presence so immense it seems to dim the light of the ceremonial bonfire. But it is not him I feel first. It is his beast. Lycos pads at his side, a monster of myth made real. Its fur is the color of a moonless night, its eyes twin pools of molten gold. It is a creature of raw, untamed power, and its gaze sweeps over the crowd with disdain. The ceremony begins. One by one, the she-wolves step forward, offering their wrists for the king to scent. One by one, he dismisses them with a curt shake of his head. His expression is stone, his boredom a palpable insult to the hopefuls. I watch from my hiding place, a familiar ache in my chest, the ache of the outsider, the observer. My wolf should be stirring, whining with the need to be seen by such an alpha. But I have no wolf. There is only silence inside me. Suddenly the air changes. A scent cuts through the cloying sweetness of perfume and desire. It is sharp, clean, and utterly wild. Pine needles after a frost, the crackle of a winter storm, the rich scent of frozen earth. It is the most beautiful thing I have ever smelled, and it calls to a part of me I did not know existed. My breath catches, my heart stumbles. A deep, primal part of my soul screams a single word: mate. At the same time, the great war beast, Lycos, stops its pacing. Its massive head lifts. Its golden eyes scan the crowd, passing over the presented she-wolves with growing impatience. A low growl rumbles in its chest, a sound that makes the ground tremble. King Draven places a hand on its neck, a silent command to be still, but the beast ignores him. It pulls against his hold, its gaze sweeping, searching. And then, its eyes find mine. Time stops. The world narrows to the space between me and the creature of shadow. The scent of winter storm intensifies, wrapping around me like a physical touch. Inside my chest, where there has only ever been emptiness, something unfurls. A tiny, dormant seed of power awakens. Lakos lets out a deep, rumbling sound, not a growl of aggression, but of recognition, of possessiveness. Mine. A voice echoes in my mind, a voice that is not my own. King Draven follows his beast's stare. His dark, piercing eyes lock onto me, hidden in the shadows. Confusion flickers across his face, then annoyance. He cannot possibly smell what his beast smells, not from this distance. But Lycos takes a step toward me, then another, dragging its master with it. The crowd parts, murmuring in confusion as the king and his beast move away from the presented females and straight toward the outcast at the edge of the clearing. My blood turns to ice. This is wrong, all wrong. I am nothing, wolfless. This cannot be happening. But Lycos stops directly in front of me, its head level with my own. It lowers its massive head and nudges my hand, its touch surprisingly gentle. The scent is overwhelming now, a dizzying perfume of fate. The king stares down at me, his face an unreadable mask of granite. You, he says, his voice a low gravel that sends a shiver down my spine. It is not a question. He extends a hand, not to scent my wrist, but to dismiss me, to push me back into the shadows where I belong. But the moment his fingers brush my skin, a jolt of pure energy, white-hot and electric, arcs between us. He flinches back as if burned. His eyes widen in shock, and for the first time, I see his control crack. I see the alpha, the man, reeling from the raw power of the bond. His nostrils flare, and I know he smells it now. Rain and freshly turned earth. My scent, the scent of his mate. Hope, fragile and terrifying, blooms in my chest. The fates have not forgotten me. I am not a mistake. I am the mate to the Alpha King. I look up at him, my heart in my eyes, waiting for the acceptance that will change my life. His expression shifts from shock to disbelief, and then to something cold and horrifying. A sneer twists his handsome features. He looks from me to his beast, then back again, his eyes lingering on my simple patched tunic, my lowly status, my lack of any discernible power. He sees not a mate, but an inconvenience, a cosmic error. No, he says, the word a blade of ice. He speaks it not to me, but to his beast, Lycos, who whines low in its throat, a sound of protest. He turns to the crowd, his voice booming with the power of his alpha command, ensuring every single member of the pack hears my humiliation. There is a mistake. His gaze sweeps over the stunned she-wolves, the confused warriors, and then lands back on me with crushing weight. This thing, he says, gesturing to me as if I were a piece of filth on his boot, is wolfless, an omega of no standing. She cannot be the mate to the Alpha King. She cannot be my queen. Every word is a physical blow. The hope that had bloomed in my chest withers and dies, turning to ash. The murmurs of the crowd turn to jeers and cruel laughter. They have always seen me as less, and now their king has confirmed it. The fragile ember of power that had stirred within me is extinguished by the sheer force of his rejection. A pain unlike anything I have ever known rips through my soul. It is the sound of a bond, sacred and fated, being violently torn in two. Lycos roars, a sound of pure fury and anguish that shakes the very trees. The beast lunges, not at me, but at its own master, its golden eyes blazing with betrayal. Draven meets the charge, his own power flaring to meet it. For a moment, man and beast are locked in a struggle of wills, a tempest of rage and pain. Enough! Draven snarls, his alpha command cracking like a whip. The great beast flinches, forced into submission, but a low, heartbroken whine escapes its throat. Draven straightens his tunic, his mask of cold authority back in place, but I see the tremor in his hand. He is shaken, but his pride is stronger than fate. He looks down at me, his eyes devoid of any warmth. I, Alpha King, Draven of the United Packs, reject this bond. I reject Ilara of the Black Fang Pack as my mate. The words are a final, brutal nail in the coffin of my heart. The world goes gray, the sounds of the crowd fading to a dull roar. The pain is a living thing, a clawed creature shredding me from the inside out. I stare at him, at the male who is my other half, and see only contempt. "Get her out of my sight," he commands, turning his back on me. He does not need to say more. My own Alpha, the leader of the Black Fang Pack, steps forward. His eyes hold a mixture of pity and disgust. "You have brought shame upon this pack, girl," he says, his voice low. "You are no longer welcome here. You are banished." Hands grab me. I do not fight. I am dragged away from the bonfire, away from the laughter, away from the king who has just destroyed me. I am shoved toward the edge of the territory, the dark, menacing forest that marks the border. The guards throw me to the ground, my worn slippers offering no protection from the sharp rocks. "Do not return," one of them spits. "The wild will take care of you." They leave me there, alone in the suffocating darkness. The cold seeps into my bones, a chilling echo of the void in my soul. The pain of the rejected bond is a constant, agonizing pulse. It should kill me. The healers always say a true rejection is a death sentence. I lie on the cold ground, curled into a ball, and I wait for the end. I welcome it. Death would be a mercy, but death does not come. Hours pass, or maybe days. I lose track. Hunger gnaws at my belly. Thirst cracks my lips. The pain is a fire that consumes everything, yet I do not burn out. Instead, something else happens. Deep within the emptiness, that tiny, dormant seed of power that had stirred when Lycos saw me begins to glow again. It is a stubborn, defiant light in the crushing darkness of my despair. It whispers a single word: survive. It is not the voice of a wolf. It is something older, something deeper. It is the voice of the earth beneath me, the moon hidden by the clouds above. I make a choice. I will not die here. I will not give him the satisfaction of my demise. I will live, if only to spite the king who threw me away. With a groan, I push myself up. My limbs scream in protest. My body is a symphony of agony, but I force myself to stand. I take one stumbling step into the wilderness, then another. I am an exile. I am broken, but I am not dead. And that, I decide, will have to be enough. 3 years later, the woman who stumbled into the wilderness is a distant memory. I am no longer Ilara the Wolfless, the rejected Omega. Here, in the hidden heart of the Sunstone Valley, I am simply Ilara, guardian of the Forgotten Lands. The valley found me when I was on the brink of death. A whisper of warmth on a frozen wind that led me through a hidden pass into this sanctuary. It is a place of ancient magic, untouched by the politics and cruelty of the packs. The air hums with a power that answers the strange energy inside me. That dormant seed of power has grown into a formidable tree. I am not wolfless. I am something else entirely. The journals I found in the crumbling temple at the valley's center told me the truth. I am a descendant of the lunar matriarchs, women whose connection was not to a single beast, but to the magic of the moon and the earth itself. Our power was seen as a threat by the first Alpha Kings and systematically bred out, suppressed until it was forgotten. My inner beast is not a wolf. It is a wellspring of elemental force, a quiet but immense power that I have spent 3 years learning to command. I no longer need to grind herbs for others. I can coax plants from the earth with a thought. I no longer fear the cold. I can draw warmth from the sunstones that give the valley its name. I am not a warrior in the way of the packs, but the creatures of this valley, the great mountain cats, the silent owls, the bears who slumber in their caves. They see me as their protector. They are my pack now. My life is quiet, solitary, but it is mine. The pain of the rejected bond has dulled from a raging inferno to a bed of hot coals, a constant low-grade ache I have learned to live with. It is a scar that reminds me of who I used to be and why I can never go back. Sometimes, at night, when the moon is full and my power sings in my veins, I let myself remember the scent of pine and winter storms. I let myself feel the phantom touch of a bond that should have been my salvation. The memory is sharp, painful, and I always push it away. He made his choice, and I have made a new life from the ashes of the one he burned down. A new scent on the wind jolts me from my meditation. It is unfamiliar, not of the valley, wolf, but not the scent of the Black Fang pack I remember. This one is gentler. Sandalwood and quiet strength. I rise from my perch overlooking the valley entrance, my senses on high alert. Few ever find this place. Those who do are usually lost and harmless. I flow down the rocks, silent as a shadow, my senses extended. I find him by the stream at the base of the hidden pass. He is tall and lean, with kind eyes and hair the color of sun-bleached wheat. He is tending to a wound on his leg, his movements careful. He does not radiate the aggressive power of a pack warrior. He feels calm. He looks up as I approach, his eyes widening, but he does not reach for a weapon. I mean no harm, he says, his voice as gentle as his scent. I am Call, of the Riverstone clan. I was tracking a wounded elk and my path led me here. This place, it feels sacred. I stop a few feet from him, studying him. My power hums, tasting the air around him, searching for deceit. I find none, only a weary sort of honor. This is the Sunstone Valley, I tell him, my voice rough from disuse. It is not a place for pack shifters. I am not here to claim it, he assures me, offering a small, disarming smile. Only to rest before I move on. Your pardon, but what are you? I have never felt a power like yours. It feels like the mountain itself is breathing. His awe is genuine, untainted by the fear or suspicion I would have expected from my old pack. For the first time in 3 years, I do not feel like an outcast in the presence of another shifter. I feel seen. I am the guardian here, I say simply. Over the next few days, Call stays. He is a healer, and he helps me mend the wing of a great eagle that had been injured in a storm. He speaks of his clan, a small, peaceful group who value balance over dominance. He treats me with a reverence that is both unnerving and deeply soothing. He sees my power not as a lack of a wolf, but as something unique and worthy of respect. He represents a life I never thought possible, a life of quiet companionship, of gentle acceptance. He does not make my heart race or my soul scream mate, but he brings a peace that I have never known. A small, cautious part of me begins to wonder if this could be a different kind of future, a safe one. My name is Draven, and I am a king haunted by a ghost. For 3 years, the scent of rain and earth has been my constant companion and my eternal tormentor. It clings to my senses, a phantom reminder of the greatest mistake of my life. I am weaker than I have ever been. My kingdom, once unshakable, now shows cracks. A creeping rot from the Shadowlands. Creatures called the Umbra test my borders with increasing boldness. My warriors fight them, but our victories feel hollow. My strength is not what it once was. The reason sits in my own chest, a hollow ache that never fades. The bond I rejected did not die. It festers, and my war beast, Lycos, never lets me forget it. He is a constant, furious presence in my mind, a mirror to my own self-loathing. Weak, he snarls when I falter in training. Fool, he growls when I toss and turn through another sleepless night. You threw her away. Our mate, our other half. He is right. I was a fool, blinded by pride and the archaic teachings of my father. A wolfless queen is a curse, a weakness that will shatter your reign, he had drilled into me since I was a pup. I saw her standing there, so small and powerless, and his voice echoed in my head. I chose doctrine over instinct. I chose pride over my own soul. In my arrogance, I broke the most sacred law of our kind, and now I am paying the price. Lycos punishes me daily. He refuses to fully merge with me in battle, holding back a fraction of his strength, a constant reminder that we are incomplete. We are a fractured whole. The pack healers say I am sick with a malady they cannot name. I cannot stomach most food. I cannot find rest. I have not been with another female since that night. The thought of it, a vile betrayal that Lycos would never permit. My beast is at war with me, and he is winning. He is slowly killing me from the inside out. The Umbra grows stronger, my king. General Valerius reports, his face grim. They struck the eastern patrols again last night. They fight with a desperation we haven't seen before. It is as if they are being driven from their own lands by something even they fear. What could the Umbra possibly fear? I ask, rubbing my temples. A headache is a permanent resident behind my eyes. That is what my best scouts are trying to determine, Valerius says. They've tracked a strange energy signature, a pulse of power that seems to repel the Umbra. It emanates from the Forgotten Lands, deep in the Dragon's Tooth Mountains. No pack has claimed that territory for centuries. An energy that repels the Umbra? I lean forward, a flicker of something other than misery stirring within me. A weapon? Or a person, Valerius says. Whatever it is powerful. The Umbra seem to swarm at the edges of its influence, like moths drawn to a flame they cannot touch. If we could harness this power, form an alliance, it could turn the tide. Then I will go myself, I decide, standing. A sense of purpose, the first I have felt in years, straightens my spine. Lycos stirs within me, not with his usual fury, but with a flicker of interest. Prepare a small party. We ride at dawn. If there is a power in those mountains strong enough to make the shadows themselves afraid, I will claim it for my kingdom. It is the only thing that might save us, the only thing that might distract me from the ghost of a girl with the scent of rain and earth. The journey into the Dragon's Tooth Mountains is arduous. The air grows thin and charged with an ancient, wild magic. Lycos is more agitated than I have seen him in years, pacing restlessly in my mind. We follow the energy signature Valerius spoke of, a palpable hum in the air that grows stronger with every step. It feels clean, pure, like moonlight given form. It is the antithesis of the Umbra's foul stench. We find a hidden pass, masked by a rock slide and ancient illusions. The energy within is almost overwhelming. It calls to my beast, not with the fire of a mate bond, but with a strange resonance, like a half-remembered song. My warriors hesitate at the entrance, their wolves whining nervously. This magic is old and unfamiliar. "Stay here," I command them. "I will go alone." This is a task for a king, not for his soldiers. I step through the pass, and my breath is stolen from me. I find myself in a lush, hidden valley, bathed in the warm glow of strange, sun-infused crystals embedded in the rock walls. A veritable paradise, teeming with life and radiating a power that makes the hairs on my arms stand up. And then I see her. She stands on a ledge of sunstone, her back to me, looking out over the valley. Her simple, earth-toned clothing cannot hide the aura of command that surrounds her. Power rolls off her in tangible waves. This is the source, this woman. As she turns, my heart stops. The face is the same, yet utterly different. The frightened, broken girl from the ceremony is gone. In her place is a woman of breathtaking strength and serenity. Her eyes, which had been wide with pain, are now calm and ancient, filled with a wisdom that belies her years. Her hair, once a simple brown, now seems streaked with silver in the valley's light. She is more beautiful and more terrifying than I could have imagined. It is her, Ilara. My mind struggles to reconcile the image of the wolfless Omega with the formidable being standing before me. The scent hits me then, a tidal wave that brings me to my knees. Rain and freshly turned earth, but 1,000 times more potent, infused with the magic of the valley itself. It is the scent I have dreamed of, the scent that has haunted me, the scent of my salvation and my damnation. Mate, Lycos roars in my mind, a cry of pure, unadulterated ecstasy and agony. Ours. She is here, alive. I cannot breathe. All the air has been punched from my lungs. The pain of the broken bond, a dull ache for 3 years, erupts into a searing fire, 1,000 times worse now that she is before me. It is a physical agony that buckles my knees. I gasp, clutching my chest as the fractured bond tries to mend itself across the distance between us. She looks at me, and her eyes, those calm, ancient eyes, show not a flicker of the same pain. There is a spark of recognition, yes, but it is immediately banked by a cold, unyielding wall of control. She feels the bond's reignition. I know she does, but she gives no sign. She simply watches me, the Alpha King, gasping like a landed fish on the floor of her sacred valley. "King Draven," she says, and her voice is not the trembling whisper I remember. It is the calm, clear voice of the valley itself, the sound of wind through ancient trees and water over smooth stones. It holds no warmth, no anger, no pain. It holds nothing but a chilling, distant authority. "You are trespassing." The sheer power behind her words pushes me back a step. It is not an alpha command, but it has a similar weight, the weight of a fundamental force of nature. I stare at her, my mind reeling. The wolfless Omega I cast aside is now a power that rivals my own. The fates have a cruel sense of irony. "Ilara," I managed to choke out, my voice raw. My beast is screaming at me to go to her, to fall at her feet, to beg, to claim, to do anything but stand here. I fight him, struggling to regain some semblance of my royal composure. I I did not know. What did you not know? She asks, her tone glacial. That I would survive? Or that your kingdom would be falling apart at the seams? Her knowledge of my troubles sends another shock through me. She is not just hiding here. She is aware. She is watching. The balance of power has not just shifted, it has been completely inverted. 3 years ago, I held her life in my hands and crushed it. Now, as I stand before her, ravaged by my own mistake and desperate for a solution to the darkness consuming my lands, I realize with sickening certainty that she now holds the fate of my kingdom in hers. I came here seeking a weapon, an ally. I found the woman I destroyed, remade into a force that could be my ruin or my only hope. And from the look in her eyes, she is in no hurry to decide which it will be. I force myself to my feet, my pride warring with the desperate howl of my beast. My kingdom is beset by the Umbra, I say, trying to inject the authority I no longer feel into my voice. I tracked a great power to this valley, one that repels them. I came to ask for an alliance. She inclines her head, a gesture of regal consideration that feels like a mockery. An alliance, she repeats, the words tasting like dust in the air. You come to my home, uninvited, to ask for my help. The last time we met, you declared me a thing not worthy of existence. Why should I help the man who banished me to die? Her words are not fiery or emotional. They are cold, hard facts, delivered with the precision of a surgeon's blade, and they cut me deeper than any sword. Every accusation is true. I have no defense. I was a fool, I admit, the words tasting like ash. Tell her, Lyca snarls. Beg. I was wrong, arrogant, blinded by tradition and fear. You were cruel, she corrects me, her voice unwavering. There is a difference. Folly can be forgiven. Cruelty must be answered for. She turns her gaze from me to the valley below, a silent dismissal. You have what you came for. You know the source of the power. It is me. And my answer is no. This valley is my sanctuary, and its power is not a weapon for you to wield. Now leave. The finality in her tone is like a door slamming shut in my face. The bond between us screams in protest, a physical tearing sensation in my chest. To walk away from her now would be to finish the job I started 3 years ago. It would kill me. Lycos howls in my mind, a sound of pure despair. I cannot, I say, the words torn from me. I will not leave without you. Her eyes snap back to mine, and for the first time, a flicker of fire appears in their calm depths. That was not a request, King Draven. It was a command. The very air around her thickens, pressing in on me. The plants on the ground seem to lean away from me. The light from the sunstones dims. The entire valley is her weapon, and it is aimed squarely at me. My alpha instincts roar, demanding I meet this challenge, but my beast whimpers, refusing to fight her. Our mate. Do not harm our mate. Before the standoff can escalate, a new scent joins the air. Sandalwood and quiet strength. The man from my scouts reports, the one seen entering the valley weeks ago, emerges from the trees. Kyle. He moves to Alara's side, his posture relaxed but protective. He places a gentle hand on her arm, and the oppressive power in the air recedes slightly. He looks at me, his eyes filled not with aggression, but with a quiet, sorrowful understanding. Perhaps you should listen to her, Kyle says, his voice calm. She has found peace here. You have no right to disturb it. Seeing him touch her, seeing the easy familiarity between them, sends a spike of black, possessive jealousy through me. It is so potent, it makes me dizzy. Lycos lets out a savage snarl in my head, a promise of death to the male who dares lay a hand on our mate. I clench my fists, my knuckles white, fighting for control. Alara looks at Kyle, and the cold mask on her face softens, almost imperceptibly. The sight of that softness offered to another male is a fresh twist of the knife in my gut. He will not listen to reason, Kyle, she says softly. Then, a sound from the pass cuts through the tension. A shriek, inhuman and filled with malice. One of my warriors screams, a sound abruptly cut off. The Umbra. They have followed me. They were drawn to my desperation, and now they are at the threshold of this sacred place. Ilara's head snaps toward the sound, her serene expression vanishing, replaced by the fierce focus of a predator. They have breached the pass, she says, her voice low and dangerous. Your darkness has followed you to my door, Alpha King. She looks from the pass, to me, to Kale. The choice has been taken from her. The battle has come to her. This changes things, she says, her eyes locking with mine again. I will help you push back this tide, not for you or for your kingdom, but because you have led these monsters to my home, and I will not allow it to be defiled. She agrees to an alliance, a temporary truce, born of necessity. We are forced to work together, to stand side by side against the encroaching shadows. For the next few days, the Sunstone Valley becomes a war camp. My warriors, awed and unnerved by Alara's power, set up a defensive perimeter. She moves among them like a queen, directing the placement of traps and wards with an innate understanding of the land that leaves my best strategists speechless. Being near her is a constant, exquisite torture. The bond hums between us, a live wire of pain and longing. I find myself watching her, cataloging the changes, the way she moves with silent grace, the way her eyes seem to see more than what is there, the way power clings to her like a second skin. She is magnificent, and she wants nothing to do with me. She speaks to me only when necessary, her tone clipped and professional. She discusses strategy, troop movements, and the nature of the Umbra, but she never meets my eyes for more than a second. She builds a wall of cold formality around herself, and I can find no way through it. Kyle is her constant shadow, her trusted lieutenant. He defers to her judgment, supports her decisions, and offers her a quiet companionship that I can only watch with burning envy. They are a team. I am an outsider, a necessary evil she must tolerate. One evening, after a particularly brutal skirmish at the pass, I find her alone by the stream, washing blood from a cut on her forearm. The moonlight catches the silver streaks in her hair. I can't stop myself. I have to try. Alara, I say, my voice softer than I intend. She doesn't look up. What is it, King Draven? Have the Umbra developed a new tactic? No, this is not about the Umbra, I say, taking a hesitant step closer. This is about us. I need you to know I am sorry for what I did, for the pain I caused you. She finally looks up, her eyes dark and unreadable in the moonlight. You are sorry, she says, her voice flat. Is that supposed to fix it? Is an apology supposed to erase 3 years of exile? Is it supposed to silence the memory of an entire pack laughing at my humiliation? Your sorrow is for you, Draven. It is the poison of your own guilt. Do not try to make me drink it. I flinch as if she had struck me. What can I do? I ask, my voice cracking with desperation. Tell me what I can do to earn your forgiveness. Nothing, she says, and the word is absolute. There is nothing you can do. The man who rejected me is not the man who can be forgiven. You cannot undo what has been done. The only thing you can do now is uphold your end of this alliance and leave my valley when the fighting is over. She stands and walks away, leaving me alone with the sound of the stream and the crushing weight of her words. Lycos is a raging tempest in my soul. She does not believe you. Words are wind. Show her. Prove it. He is right. My apologies are meaningless. My regret is my own burden to bear. Words will not fix what I broke. Only actions have a chance. I have to show her I have changed, even if she never forgives me. I have to become a male, worthy of the queen she has become. The next day, Kyle finds me sharpening my blade, my mind lost in a haze of self-recrimination. He stands there for a long moment before speaking. She is not the same person you banished, he says quietly. I look up at him, my hand tight on the hilt of my sword. I am aware. Are you? He asks, his gaze steady. You look at her and see the mate you lost. I look at her and see the guardian this valley chose. She found her own strength, her own purpose without you. She does not need you to complete her, King Draven. She is already whole. His words are a truth I have been avoiding. I wanted to be her missing piece, to heal the wound I inflicted. But she has already healed herself. You love her, I state, the words tasting bitter. Kyle gives a sad smile. I admire her more than anyone I have ever met. I would give my life to see her happy and at peace. And I have watched the two of you these past few days. I see the way the bond still pulls at her, even when she fights it. I see the torment in your eyes. He takes a deep breath. I cannot compete with a fated bond, especially one as powerful as yours. And I will not be the reason she settles for a life of quiet peace when her soul is calling for a storm. Her fight is with you and with herself. I will not stand in the middle of it. He looks toward the center of the valley, where Alara is communing with the sunstones, her form glowing with a soft, ethereal light. I will be leaving after the Umbra are dealt with, Kyle says. I hope, for her sake, that you prove to be a man worthy of her pain. He turns and walks away, leaving me with his quiet dignity and another heavy truth. The choice is Alara's alone. She can choose the fury of our bond, or she can choose the solitude she has earned. It is my duty to ensure she makes that choice from a position of absolute power and freedom, not because she is swayed by my desperation. The final battle comes without warning. A screech from the heavens announces the arrival of the Umbra Lord, a monstrous creature of nightmare and shadow, far larger and more terrifying than its minions. It ignores my warriors, its multifaceted eyes fixed on one target, Ilara. It is not here for territory. It is here to consume her light. It dives, a comet of darkness, straight for her. I do not think. I only act. Lycos and I move as one for the first time in 3 years, our fractured selves momentarily united by a single, overwhelming purpose. Protect. Ours. Protect. I throw myself in front of her, raising my ancestral blade to meet the creature's charge. The impact is cataclysmic. The Umbra Lord's claws, sharp as obsidian, shred through my armor and deep into my side. The pain is blinding, a fire that consumes my senses. But I hold my ground. I have to. She is behind me. I roar, a sound that is both man and beast, and drive my sword into the creature's shadowy flesh. It shrieks and recoils, but the damage is done. I stumble, my vision swimming in black spots. I can feel my lifeblood pouring out of me, hot and fast. I fall to one knee, my sword the only thing holding me up. Ilara rushes to my side, her cold facade shattered, her eyes wide with shock and fear. Fear for me. "Draven!" she cries, her hand hovering over my wound. The Umber Lord circles, preparing for another strike. My warriors are fighting valiantly, but they are outmatched. This is the end. I know it. But if I am to die, it will be as the man she deserves, not the king who failed her. With the last of my strength, I turn to her. I ignore the monster in the sky. All that matters is her. I reach up and unclasp the Alpha King's sigil from my ruined armor, pressing it into her hand. "It is yours!" I gasp, my breath short. "The kingdom, the power, all of it." I let go of my sword and it clatters to the ground. I fall to both knees before her, in the mud and blood of the battlefield. I lower my head and bare my throat in the ultimate act of submission. My beast is silent, in complete agreement. This is the only way. "I release you, Ilara," I say, my voice a ragged whisper, but I pour all my remaining energy into it, making it a vow. "I release you from any obligation, from any bond. You are free. Choose your own path. Rule or don't. Return to your valley, find peace with Kale, whatever you want. I ask for nothing." I look up at her, my vision fading. I give her the only thing I have left to give. My truth. My only regret is that I did not recognize the queen standing before me. My last act will be to protect her. I grab my sword, preparing to stand and meet the final blow. I will die on my feet, a shield for my mate, my queen. But a hand on my shoulder stops me, gentle, yet firm. "No," Ilara says, her voice thick with an emotion I cannot name. I look up into her eyes, and I see tears tracking paths through the dirt on her cheeks. The wall is gone. All of it. I see the broken Omega, the powerful guardian, and the fated mate, all there in her gaze. She makes her choice. "Stay with me, Draven," she whispers. She places her hand on my chest, directly over my heart. A brilliant silver light pours from her palm, flooding my body. It is not hot like the sun, but cool and soothing, like moonlight. It knits torn muscle, mends shattered bone, and seals the gaping wound in my side. It is the purest, most potent magic I have ever felt. As my body heals, something else happens. The broken, festering bond between us, the source of my 3 years of agony, flares with that same silver light. The jagged edges smooth out, the fractured pieces weaving back together, stronger and more radiant than before. It is not the violent, instinctual snap of a first recognition. This is a conscious choice, a mutual acceptance. The bond clicks into place, whole and perfect, and a wave of power, our power combined, explodes from us. I feel Lycos surge within me, whole and hale for the first time, purring with a contentment so deep it is almost painful. Mate, queen, ours. She did not just heal my body, she healed my soul. I rise to my feet, no longer the broken king, but her consort, her other half. Power hums in my veins, a mixture of my own primal fury and her serene lunar energy. We turn to face the Umbra Lord as one. She raises her hands, and the sunstones of the valley blaze with light, focusing into a beam of pure energy in her grasp. I raise my sword, and Lycos cloaks it in shadows, no longer chaotic, but controlled and precise. Light and dark, sun and moon, we are two halves of a perfect whole. The Umbra Lord dives again, shrieking its hatred for the light. We do not flinch. Ilara unleashes the beam of pure moonlight, and I meet it with my own blade of shadow. The energies intertwine, twisting into a devastating spiral of silver and black that slams into the beast. It dissolves into nothingness, its final scream swallowed by the sheer force of our combined will. The remaining Umbra shriek in terror and flee, vanishing back into the darkness from which they came. Silence falls over the valley, broken only by the weary cheers of my warriors. The battle is over. We have won. I turn to Ilara. She looks at me, her face luminous, her power a radiant cloak around her shoulders. She is every inch the queen I failed to see. I slowly, reverently, kneel before her again, not as a dying male, but as a devoted servant. My queen, I say, my voice filled with an awe that is almost religious. She reaches down and takes my hand, pulling me to my feet. Get up, Drevin, she says, a small, weary smile on her lips. A king does not kneel. This king, I reply, my voice thick with emotion as I lace my fingers through hers, kneels only for his queen. We stand there, hand in hand, as the sun begins to rise over the lip of the valley, bathing our new world in light. The war is over, but the work of rebuilding is just beginning. Not just the kingdom, but us. 6 months later, I stand beside Ilara on the balcony of the royal palace, overlooking the capital city. The scars of the Umbra War are still visible, but so are the signs of renewal. Our people, once fractured by my weakness, are now united under the dual leadership of their Alpha King and their Lunar Queen. Her quiet strength has tempered my aggressive rule. Her wisdom has guided my hand. We are better rulers together than we ever could have been apart. Our bond is a constant, steady hum beneath my skin, a source of endless strength and comfort. There are still days when the ghost of my failure haunts me, when I see the memory of her face at the ceremony and my guilt threatens to consume me. On those days, she simply takes my hand, and the steady pulse of her magic, of her forgiveness, soothes the storm in my soul. She has never once thrown my past in my face. Her forgiveness was as absolute as her rejection once was. You're thinking too loudly, she murmurs, leaning her head against my shoulder. The scent of rain and earth is my home now, the scent I will breathe for the rest of my days. I am thinking, I say, turning to press a kiss to her hair, that I am the luckiest male in this world. She looks up at me, her eyes clear and filled with a deep, abiding love that I still feel I have not fully earned. We earned this, Draven, both of us. Our scars do not have to define us. She is right. The path here was paved with pain, exile, and blood. We were broken apart and remade, stronger in the places where the cracks had been. I was an arrogant king who had to be humbled into a worthy man. She was a hidden power who had to be cast into the darkness to find her own light. Our story is not a simple tale of fated mates. It is a testament to the fact that even the deepest wounds can heal, and that true power is not about dominance, but about balance. It is about a king who learned to kneel, and a rejected Omega who rose to become the queen who saved them all.